Hello, welcome. I am Michelle. I'm so excited you're here. I'm going to be walking you through a training today that is going to talk to you about how to start an online practice that earns 10K plus per month in 10 hours per week. I know this might sound a bit crazy, a bit wild. If you're skeptical, I get it. I used to be there too, especially before I started doing this and then started training other practitioners how to do the same. But my goal today, it's not to prove something to you. It's not to, convince you of anything. My hope is to just blast open the realm of possibility for you, show you what's worked for me, what's worked for other practitioners that I have worked with, so that you can start to implement these strategies in your own practice. Now, at the end of the video, I will be giving you 3 different options if you do want my help to implement what we're going over today in a more personalized way. So you can choose to take advantage of that. But if not, totally okay as well. I'm just hoping to provide a ton of value and again, blast open the realm of possibility for you so that you can actually create a life and a practice on your own terms that gives you more freedom, more flexibility, more fulfillment, and more financial stability. So let's go ahead and dive into who this is not for. So this is not for you if you are only wanting to implement conventional medical strategies. Now, there is a time and a place for conventional medicine for sure, and it's just not a part of the way that I teach and the philosophy and especially the clinical mastery that I go over inside of my programs. So if you're not open to lifestyle upgrades, personalized nutrition, targeted nutrient therapy, this is not going to be for you. Okay. Second, this is not going to be for you if you are either still in school to become a practitioner, which amazing. I'm so happy for you. And come back after you graduate when you're ready to start your practice. This is also not for people who are just aspiring to be a health practitioner in the future. This just won't be applicable to you. So that is that. So let's dive into who this is actually for. This is for health and wellness practitioners who are currently probably in what I call practitioner purgatory. I know because I've been there. But basically, you're ready for something different. You're ready to take your practice online. You're serious about it. You don't want it to just be a side hustle, right? Like you're ready to go. This is for practitioners who want to create an offer suite, a signature high ticket offer, enroll high caliber clients, and possibly even create more of a scalable model, which could look like groups or memberships or things like that. So that is that lifestyle. So in my world, what I love to do is have us build a business around your lifestyle and not the other way around, right? That's what a lot of people, the majority of people do. So we're here to really build a life and not just a living. Like I'm just like working to pay the bills and like blah. No, we're creating the lifestyle that we want to live. And I'm really, really passionate about helping practitioners do that on their own terms, right? Because everybody's idea of success looks different. Results. So this is also for practitioners who are client-centered, they're heart-centered. They want to get really good results for their clients. They're not just here to make passive income or try to earn XYZ amount of money per month or per year or whatever. Like we want to see and witness and facilitate actual transformations for our clients. Okay. And then lastly, fulfillment. So I don't know if you've heard the term ikigai, but I do believe that our practice, our service gets to be our ikigai, right? It's where like our passion, our mission, our purpose all comes together in this really beautiful thing that it's like our way of sharing our heart and our passion with the world. And so if this all resonates with you, then you are in the right place and you're going to get a lot out of this training. So I'm so excited you're here. Now, what we will go over today, we're going to go over what the options are that are actually available to you are, right? Because I remember when I was in school, I felt really limited with what my options were and after I graduated and all that kind of stuff. So I want to talk about that. We'll go over what holistic alignment for your online practice could look like. We'll go over my signature model, the wealth model, and those 5 pillars. And then we'll dive deeper into one one of the pillars and get really clear on some of your online offers and what that could really look like. And then, of course, we'll talk about diving deeper and what that could look like for you. So, a little bit about me. So, I went to Bastyr University. I graduated in 2012. Naturopathic doctor, acupuncture, and oriental medicine. They called it the triple track, right? So I got out and I was told that my options were residency, which I did get a residency. I got the residency in San Francisco, which I had worked really, really, really hard for. Um, but I declined it. Key little thing right there. I declined it. I wasn't interested in being an employee. I didn't want to go into private practice because honestly, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think that I could do that. I didn't want to get into like academic research realm, didn't want to go into like government public health realm. So I chose to be an associate. Okay. So fast forward, it was great. I was in primary care for 4 years, insurance paradigm, all the things. I had a steady patient stream. I had a reliable paycheck. I had a beautiful office. This was actually one of my offices in the Pacific Northwest. I had a built-in clinical mentor, which was incredible. She had like 20 years experience at that time or something like that. But I felt like something was missing and I couldn't necessarily put my finger on it, but I wasn't fulfilled in the way that I knew I could be. And I couldn't imagine doing what I was doing for another 2 years, let alone 20, right? Like an entire career. I just couldn't bring myself to doing that. So after a total of 6 years working in various capacities, primary care, insurance panels, fee for service, programs, packages, cash-based private practice, hundreds of patients, right? I had a six-figure income, but I was frustrated. I was unfulfilled. I was constantly stressed and I felt constantly constrained. Like my hands were tied behind my back with how I truly wanted to be working with people. And I knew, and I'm sure you're feeling the same way right now, my paycheck didn't reflect the value that I was providing, right? And so in 2018, I decided to take a major leap and I took my practice online. Like nobody else was doing it at this time, right? So what I was seeing and what I experienced for myself is that there's this old way of practicing, right? Like the fee for service, the hourly rate, there's high overhead costs, maybe 50 to 60-hour work weeks, right? Taking any patient with a pulse, large unengaged patient base, right? Minimal patient follow through, endless hours of admin and charting, right? Unreliable patient results, low profit margins, like 10 to 20% at best if you're lucky, stressful, overwhelming, complex, minimal travel, you're chained to your office all day, right? Like I was so over that. And so I was like, no way, no, thank you. How about a new way of doing things? What about programs, right? So a per client rate, right? Instead of a per hour rate, ultra lean overhead, right? No more office expenses, things like that. 10 to 20-hour work weeks max, hand-picked high caliber clients, right? Quality over quantity. So instead of having hundreds of people that I'm working with, I had a much smaller group of people. My max was about 7 clients. Okay. Great client follow through because I was able to actually personalize and be with them through this process. Reliable client results for the same reason. Strategic content for quality leads. So like social media, email, all of that. High profit margins. So like 50% plus, right? Simple, fulfilling, flexible, freedom all around, location, time, financial, all of those things. Like, yes, like let's have a new model for practitioners, right? Let's get out of that practitioner purgatory. So this is what I teach other health and wellness practitioners to build. Now, I love this quote. It's you can either create your life by design or by default. And I literally live my life by this quote because I am so not the type of person to live a traditional normal white picket fence, whatever life. Like, if you guys are new to my world, I live in Mexico. I've been living here for over 3.5 years now. So, like, I'm part of the expat community, whatever. I have no plans of going back to the States. Like, I live a very unconventional life because I do it by design. I don't do what people like think I should do. And I don't I guess, succumb to those sort of social norms and standards because it just doesn't work for me. Like, I'm just a different person with different desires. And I'm not saying that has to be you, but I'm just trying to emphasize that we're all very unique in our own desires and what we want and what we are working towards and what success looks like. So, and again, I'm blasting open the realm of possibility for you, right? So let's dive into the wealth model. This is going to be really, really clear for you. It has a really a logical flow. So I'm excited to share it with you. So applying holistic alignment to your online practice, and holistic alignment, again, is like my core philosophy around everything that I teach, because I want everything that you do in your life to be integrated in a really beautiful way. That way we don't need to like compartmentalize and be one way in one area and one in another. And this feels like it doesn't align. And I'm trying, like, we just want everything to be in a holistic alignment so that we can live, right, and really enjoy the life that we create. Now, there are 5 pillars inside the wealth model. We've got clarity, we've got connection, we've got conversion, we've got clinical mastery, and cultivation. So I'll briefly go over each one and then we'll dive into clarity. So clarity specifically, this is where we get really clear on who your ideal client is. We create offers that speak directly to their needs, wants, and desires, right? So getting crystal clear on who you serve and understanding their pain points, you're also going to learn to craft targeted content and messaging that resonates deeply with them, okay? In the wealth model, we focus on the person, not the pathology. This is really important, and I dive really deep into this into my programs. So for example, instead of focusing on, say, women who have autoimmune conditions and or hormonal imbalances, which is what I used to focus on in my in-person brick and mortar practice, I chose to focus on mission-driven female entrepreneurs. They tended to be coaches with a sort of spiritual side to them, and it was phenomenal. I freaking loved it, and it was amazing. It helped to position me and set me aside in the online space. So the more clarity that you have, the easier it's going to be to attract clients who truly value your services. Now, pillar 2, connection. So this is where we build strong relationships with your audience through effective online marketing, messaging, and community. So by optimizing your social media presence and maintaining consistent, genuine contact, you end up fostering trust and loyalty. And when people trust you, they enroll in your programs, okay? So in the wealth model, we prioritize authenticity and value-driven content because that is what builds trust. So for example, instead of generic health tips, right? Drink X amount of ounces of water per day, sleep X amount of whatever, like everything that you see that people just glaze over and scroll past, right? So for example, instead of generic health tips, it's important to create strategic content creation that helps you connect with your ideal client at each stage of their journey, okay? So the more genuine your connections, the more your dream clients are going to get to know, like, and trust you, which is going to lead to more enrollments. So let's dive into conversion. Now, this is where we turn interested leads or potential clients, right, into loyal clients with heart-centered sales techniques and efficient systems. So by mastering the art of enrollment, streamlining your workflow, you're going to develop consistent client acquisition processes, right? So in the wealth model, we focus on building trust and providing value over just making a sale, right? That's where people have like all of this what's the word I'm looking for? Like this dissonance around sales and the sales process, and sales are icky and sticky and gross and da 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 da. It's like, yeah, because most people in the sales world are just trying to make the sale. They're just trying to make the money. Whereas we are wanting to build trust and provide value, right? So that we actually attract the perfect fit clients for us. So there's a win-win situation and it never feels icky or gross, right? So for example, instead of hard selling or manipulative tactics, which we've all experienced, you can create valuable assets that showcase your expertise and help potential clients see the benefits of working with you. The more trust you build, again, the easier it becomes to convert leads into dedicated clients. Okay. So let's go into clinical mastery. Now, this is where we integrate functional labs or other clinical expertise you might have to facilitate reliable client results. So different practitioners, of course, have different strengths, different modalities, different techniques that can really set their practice apart, because in the online space, it's about being different, not about being better. It's about being different, about not about being better. Okay. So in the wealth model, we emphasize, keep losing my pen here. We emphasize holistic and individualized care. So using personalized nutrition, lifestyle upgrades, targeted nutrient therapy based on functional lab results. That's what I teach. That's what I've specialized in for over a decade now. I love functional labs. I love cross-referencing. I love seeing all of it. And so I do teach that inside of my programs, but you might have other modalities that you absolutely love. You might use other labs. You might use other whatever techniques, and I encourage you to infuse those into your practice. So the more you align with your own clinical strengths, the better the outcomes you're going to achieve, making your practice uniquely effective and impactful for your dream perfect fit clients. Okay. So next we've got cultivation. This is the last pillar. Now with cultivation, this is where we focus on growing and scaling your online practice sustainably, strategically, and profitably, right? So with strategies for business growth, team building, and enhanced productivity, you'll ensure your practice thrives while staying aligned with your long-term goals and vision. So in the wealth model, we focus on strategic growth and support systems. So for example, instead of trying to do everything on our own, which I know we try to do, we try so hard, we implement certain automation tools. We hire support to handle admin tasks. We this like delegating basically helps us to stay in our zone of genius, right? Really, really, really important. So the more strategic your approach, the more stable, secure, and predictable your practice is going to become. Now, what I would love to do is take a little bit of a deeper dive into clarity so you can get a real handle, a real grasp on what I'm talking about here. So in pillar one, so clarity is the foundation of every single successful online practice. I can't emphasize clarity enough. And unfortunately, so many of the practitioners that I speak with are so bogged down, exhausted, depleted, spread thin that they don't even have the time or space to have a vision, to really tap into their desires. But without the clarity, you end up wasting time, energy, and resources targeting the wrong audience, offering services that don't fully resonate with your dream clients, right? You end up making online courses, you end up spending all this money and time and energy on a website, like all of these things that are just literally draining you from the things that you could be doing. So clarity ensures that every aspect of your online practice aligns with your core values and long-term vision. We're talking messaging, offer suite, pricing, branding, sales strategies, marketing, content creation, client journey, and experience. I'm talking everything in your online practice depends on this clarity, okay? Now, I want to dive into how this applies to your offers, right? Because I know a lot of you might be thinking, what would I offer in the online space? How would I put this together? So I love talking about and teaching two different basically tiers. We've got an intimate offer and we've got a scalable offer. So your intimate offer, this is your comprehensive one-on-one program that helps build the foundation of your online practice, quickly increases revenue, right? You get cash injections and it informs your scalable offer. So I recommend starting here first, always. Always, always, always. It's so important. So then once you've started bringing in some high caliber, high ticket clients, your one-on-one clients in the online space, then you can move over to your scalable offer. So this This is your one-to-many offer, hence scalable, right? This can look like a group program, a membership. This is the offer that provides monthly recurring revenue, which is super, super important, especially when you're wanting to bring in those multi-five-figure months. Okay. So this is where the revenue comes in, the stability, and it also boosts your reputation because the word starts spreading. I want to give you some examples of what this could actually look like from a financial standpoint. So with your intimate offer, say you had 10 dream clients at 10K per person. So that's your per client rate is say $10,000. Inside of my programs, people start anywhere from 6,500 up to 12K plus. So this is kind of average of what around people would be charging. So if you had 10 dream clients for the entire year, we're talking about, right? That's already $100,000 for the year. Done. 10 clients, 10K, right? That's less than one new client a month. If you love one-on-one work and you have the capacity, and this is where you're wanting to really put your time, energy, and focus, then you could easily 2, 3, 4, 5 plus X that, right? So we're looking at not just 100K, but 2, 3, 4, 500K just with one-on-one. Again, depending on your capacity and how you want to be showing up, the level of support, all of that kind of stuff for your clients. Now, with the scalable offer, as your audience grows, you could also choose to run something like a 3-month group program. Maybe you have 25 people in that. You're charging $2,500 each. That's another $62,500 each time you launch it. This is a 3-month program. You could launch it 2 times a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, right? Or you could have a membership. So maybe you have a monthly membership where people are just paying $200 a month. Maybe you have 25 people in there. That's an extra $60,000 per year, right? So again, I want to blast open the realm of possibility for you. So when I was in practice, I haven't been taking private clients. I have one private client right now, but I haven't been taking private clients now for a little over a year, just because my passion, my purpose, my focus is really helping health and wellness practitioners dial this in, because I am on a mission to shift this paradigm. But my program was $18,000 pay in full. It was $21,000 as a payment plan. So what did it include? It was simpler than you likely think. 6 months of unlimited support. Unlimited does not mean 24/7 on call. That means within my own boundaries. I'm available from this time to this time, these days per week, da 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 da. Like, you can message me. I have a separate app, like, specifically for clients. They're not texting my cell phone, right? Like, there's your own boundaries are infused into that, but technically unlimited support. 6 core functional labs that I go over inside of the Wealth Academy, and then a strategic and comprehensive protocol that works. So I have a very specific system that I teach inside my programs that takes you through each body system and how we approach protocols in a very specific sequence. So that simply was my 18K program. Okay. And just to give you kind of an example of what your week could look like, say you had 6 clients. You could have a client call, like maybe Mondays are for client calls, and you work 3 hours that day. And you have some nice spaciousness in between those calls, so you can actually go to the bathroom and have a sip of water or move your body a little bit and stretch, right? Maybe Tuesdays are CEO days where you get to work on the back end, refining your systems, refining your offers, making things flow smoother, right? Updating your standard operating procedures, right? And then maybe Wednesday is dedicated to content creation. So there's a lot of spaciousness for creativity, and you get to write and you get to create and you get to share your knowledge and get things onto paper that you can share with the world through social media. Right? I know I work best when I have like that spaciousness where I don't have to like, okay, I got to make a post in like 10 minutes and I got to get it done and da 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 da. And then it just falls flat and it's just crickets, because it's coming from a place of urgency and scarcity and just not the energy that we want to be bringing to our online practice, right? And then maybe again on Thursday, you have another day of client calls, right? So this is just an example, right, of what your week could look like. your 10-hour week could look like. Okay. So this is just an example just to show you of like where I'm at now, and potentially this is where you want to be, maybe not, but like as far as obligatory calls on my calendar, I typically have 2 calls. That would be the office hours that I host inside of the Wealth Academy and my Catalyst Mastermind call. And so like my obligatory calls are a couple hours a week that I have. And the rest I get to structure however I want, time blocks, content creation, CEO days, all of that kind of good stuff. So again, like I want to blast open the realm of possibility for you. So are you starting to see what is actually possible for you? Right? It might look different from what I've shown you, but I'm hoping that the wheels are turning, right? What is possible for you? So you might be asking, and this is kind of bonus material, but I think it's important because, again, I want you to see what is possible and that it gets to be more simple than you probably think. So how do you fill these offers? I teach a simplified funnel. So we've got your main platform, which is where you reach the most people and put out content on a regular basis. This speaks directly to your dream clients. I recommend only choosing one platform that your dream client hangs out on the most. So this could be Instagram, it could be Facebook, it could be TikTok or Pinterest or LinkedIn, like one of the main social media platforms. Just pick one. Okay. Next, we've got a nurture platform. This is where people get to dive deeper with you. They really start to get to know you, whether or not they like you, whether or not they trust you. So this tends to be longer form content, right? So this could be email newsletters. This could be a Facebook group where you go live or share master classes. This could be a YouTube channel, a podcast, a blog. So you see what I'm talking about? There's like longer form content for them to really dive in and absorb and metabolize like who you are, what you teach, what your philosophy is, what your perspective is, how you can help them, right? And then finally, we've got the invitation. So in these platforms, in these posts, in your main platform, in your nurture platform, you're always redirecting someone to what's called a CTA or a call to action. This is where you make an invitation to these potential clients to actually come and work with you. It's the natural flow of things, right? Again, we're not trying to be weird and manipulative and icky and salesy and all of that kind of stuff, but it's a natural flow. When people start to know, like, and trust you, they get curious about how they can work with you, right? That's the flow that we're creating. And we're simply just telling them how. Like, this is how you can work with me, right? Like, I'm going to do the same thing at the end of this video. Like, this is how you can work with me. So basically, the funnel that it looks like, I'm a super visual person. So the funnel looks like the main content platform. This is what captures the majority of the people, right? Again, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, da, da, da. Then we've got some sort of an opt-in or a freebie. This is where you collect an email address, a phone number in exchange for value that you provide, right? A handout, an ebook, an audio file, whatever that looks like. You can get creative, but there's a value exchange that happens for that phone number or that email, right? And then they enter a nurture platform. So this could be your email, right? This could be one of the longer platforms that we talked about. And then, of course, the invitation and something that I call the Power PDF, which is something that I teach inside of my programs to really summarize your offers and really get people to understand what it is that you do, how you do it, how you help people, how you facilitate transformation. And so that invitation can happen through a sales call. It can happen through just a DM conversation, right? A direct message conversation. And then you can decide through that interaction after that invitation, is my intimate offer more applicable for them right now, or is my scalable offer a better fit? And so you can kind of build those out and have people either self-select or recommend. Oh, but will it work for me? Right? Like you might be sitting there and be like, that all sounds like cool and fine and all of that, but is this actually going to work for me? So I just want to share a few examples from different practitioners. So Dimpy, naturopathic doctor, oh my God, another wait list for January at 12K, right? She was getting people wait listed at 12K. Janet, medical doctor, just booked my 4th discovery call within a 10 10-day period. This is after upping my ticket price to 12K. Janet actually ended up having a 50K month in January of this year. So she is crushing it. Whitney, she was an ER nurse. Whitney's story, I love it so much. But basically, I signed a client this past week at almost 2K higher than my last one and was able to fully pay off my business credit card for the very first time. I'm almost more excited about this win. My maternity leave finished up. And when it was time to go back to the ER, instead, I resigned. And it felt so good. I just got chills because her online practice was taking off. She was able to leave that position and stay home. And now she has two more babies. Like, incredible. Lauren, nutrition therapy practitioner. So I think I forgot the exact date. I think within 3 months of getting access to your program, I already had like 20 clients of my own outside. And I had left the clinic and I was like, so she was working for another clinic at the time. And I was like, great, fantastic. I'm not struggling. I was making like 10K a month like that. Amazing. Lori, doctor of physical therapy. I wasn't even out of the program and I'd already made like 40K at that point. And it was like 4 months into the program. Like, it's crazy. I was doing it and I was happy and very content with like 10K a month. But now fast forward and my average is 18K a month, right? Sarah, dietitian, I really stepped into my power as a confident practitioner and made $258,000 from July of last year to this year in my business. I created a mentorship program for dietitians that has been so much fun to lead, and I'm ready to scale and bring on another practitioner into my one-on-one practice. I did all of this with a new baby, moving all over the place and working less hours than I ever have in my entire life, right? So this has worked for naturopathic doctors, acupuncturists, medical doctors, osteopathic doctors, physician's assistants, chiropractors, functional medicine providers, nurse practitioners, nurses, pharmacists, physical therapists, nutritionists, dietitians, advanced health coaches. Like, this has worked across the board with health and wellness practitioners. So I encourage you, if you want to join the movement, I have worked with over 130 health and wellness practitioners at this point. We have collectively generated multi-seven figures. There are dozens of resignation notices now that have been submitted. So more freedom, right? More autonomy, more sovereignty. And of course, countless practitioners, families, patients, and clients' lives transformed forever. So if you want to dive deeper, I do have 3 options available for you. We have BIOP University, Build Your Online Practice University, which is where you want to build. So an online course designed to help you ditch your day job and build a freedom-based online practice. This emphasizes the first 3 pillars of the wealth model that we went over today. So BIOP U provides the tools and strategies needed to launch a successful online practice in less than 3 months. That's a DIY online course. Amazing. The Wealth Academy, if you want to grow. So my signature comprehensive high-touch 12-month program designed to help you grow a thriving 6-figure online practice. Inside, we cover the entire wealth model. So we talk about clarity, connection, conversion, clinical mastery, and cultivation to really ensure your success. And then finally, we have Catalyst Mastermind. This is if you are ready to scale. So this is an intimate community of women with established online practices. So this exclusive high-level container offers direct access to me, advanced business strategies, and the guidance needed to scale your practice to multi-6 figures and beyond with strategic alignment. So if any of these sound interesting to you, please send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and I would love to chat with you. But otherwise, if you're ready to build, grow, or scale your own online practice to double your current income and turn your 10-hour work day into a 10-hour work week, send me a message. It can be as simple as saying Academy, and I will know exactly what you're talking about. So I hope to see you later. I hope this training was impactful, inspiring. I hope it blasted your realm of possibilities open, and I would love to hear from you. So take care, and I will chat with you soon.